Alrighty, so I'm here with Carolyn Pemberton now. And so my first question, I guess, will be, what was your reaction when you got the phone call from Dennis Francois and you being nominated to the Hall of Fame?
Well, like I said, my first reaction was because I knew what it entailed, and all I could think is, I can't do this. I don't want to get up in front of people and have the center be on me. But no, I was very honored, and I was thrilled, and I guess I was surprised because I was like, it's been a long time since I've been in college, and I mean, I have seen what Mario has done with that team and the girls that have come out of that team, and one of Leanne McGahee and Kate Riome, I played with them. They were younger than me, and they've been honored. That team was honored, and and so just to be in that group was like it felt really special, and to be like recognized after having played so long ago and still having my name was still kind of a piece of their history. It was just it meant a lot.
So actually, go looking through the volleyball records in CW history, you still see your name in the top 10 almost everywhere. It's highlighted by still being the number one leader in Central Washington University volleyball history of kills. Just that, with the record holding this long, and who knows when it might be broken. Emphasis on might, you never know. How does that feel for you, just seeing that still?
So just kind of part of it, I mean, I just look back, I was so lucky because Mario and Brad Ackerman, they came to my house in Walla Walla, they recruited me, and I got to play as a freshman. Mario, I don't know how long he had been coaching there, but it wasn't that long, when I got there. And so he was really building that program. I mean, and he has continued to build it. Like, that program is incredible. And I was lucky enough, that part of that building program that I got to play a lot as a freshman. So I am well aware that I got a lot of time, and I got 4 years, to be able to set that record. Which a lot of the girls now coming in, a lot of them don't get to play as much as freshmen because they've got incredible girls ahead of them they get to learn from. Mm-hmm. So I'm very like it's kind of like one of those bittersweet things because, like I said, I'm well aware that I got to play a lot more than a lot of these girls are getting to play now as far as game time as a freshman and sophomore. But I also have to give so much credit to Mario for believing in me. Like, I had some rough games and he just kept, but there wasn't a lot of other people he could go to, for the out. Katie, I played with Katie Orgel, who was incredible. She was a year older than me, and she was just a huge help to me. She led me the entire time we played together, from her sophomore year and my freshman year till she graduated. She was somebody that I just looked up to and just kept pulling me along and pulling me along. I was not good in the back row. I wasn't good on defense. I mean, blocking wise I was, but if it was anything passing, digging, I was not very good. And Katie just stepped by me and she's like, you can do this. And so a lot of it was just her giving me that confidence that, because my play was at the net. Like, that's where I excelled. But being an outside hitter, you have to be an all-around person. Mm-hmm. And so I just really credit her and Mario and Brad too, because they were both just those voices in my head that were always telling me, like, you can do this, you can do this. And I still remember the game. It was my very last game when I broke the record. And just going into that, knowing like how many kills I had to have, and I did it, and my whole team was just so excited for me, which like, still thinking about it, it kind of makes me emotional because I just remember that exact moment and the people in the stands, and I still have the picture after with Mario. We had took like a picture together after the game, and I still have that. I just remember, like, that's the game I broke the record. So yeah, no, I have so many good memories there. Obviously, like, that's, like I said, it's a very cool thing that I still hold the record for it. But I am also just like very aware that I was given a rare opportunity in getting to play so much. When, like I said, I really wasn't a college caliber player my freshman year, but they had trust and faith in me, and I had incredible teammates pulling me along. And then my setter, Carrie St. Martin, she was huge too, because she was older, and she trusted, she gave me that ball. Like, she knew that I could put it away, and she trusted me enough, even with my inexperience, to give me those opportunities too. So long-winded, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is perfect. I love it. So I guess that kind of is another question that I had was, what do you missed most about your time at Central?
So definitely my teammates, my girls. There was a group of us that we pretty much ended up living together for our last 2 years, and we played together, we lived together. I mean, it was the best experience probably of my life, like getting to live with them and play with them and travel. Our time in Hawaii. So again, because we were, that kind of like building program, we didn't travel a whole lot, but we did get to do Alaska and we did get to go Hawaii. And our first Hawaii trip was super memorable. So those, and then going to Alaska, we saw whales one time, which is incredible. We got to go in September, and then I remember we went back like the next year, and it was like November, and we were like trekking through a snowstorm, staying in these little cottages over. We were playing Fairbanks, and we were staying in like these little cottages that weren't even a hotel; they were like this. And so and it snowed, it was a huge snowstorm. So we're trying to trek through to get to like back to our vans, and it's dark at like 3 in the afternoon, and yeah, so just kind of those funny, but hands down, it was my teammates. Just all the road trips. So Julie Roberts, sorry, it was Julie Price now. Julie Roberts, Randy, Jessica Chase, it's not Jessica Chase, Jessica Scott. Sorry, I'm all thinking of their married names. And then Courtney Stacy, Courtney Axelson. So the 5 of us all lived in a house together. And that was, I mean, the memories we made. Yeah, it was, that's honestly what I miss the most. And we have not gotten together as much in the last couple of years. We're all like married, we have jobs, we have lots of kids. But in those early years after we left college, we would get together every summer and we would rent a place in Chelan or something like that. And get all of our families together, or just in the beginning, it was just kind of us as couples, or and so I miss that too, because it just created a lifelong friendship for me. And so again, like there was so much fun with volleyball and all of that, but it all came down to the friendships that I made while I was there.
Absolutely. I love that. That's so cool that you guys even still are in touch
Yeah.
with each other,
Yeah.
and like you said, lifelong friendships.
Yeah.
It's hard to find those nowadays.
I know. It's like my very best friends, like they are the ones pretty much from college. I mean, I have like one from high school. Most of them are from college, and then even now, like when you get older, there's just those memories of like college and how carefree everything is, and the stupid things you do. That we didn't have social media, so nothing got recorded, which is excellent.
Kind of to backtrack a little bit, how did you end up at Central?
Okay, so this is a kind of a funny story. So I'd been playing volleyball, and all through high school, I thought I wanted to play college basketball. And somewhere around like my junior year, I kind of started getting involved in club volleyball, and I started to have a little more success with that. So I was like, oh, well, maybe. So then I kind of switched from wanting to play college basketball to wanting to play college volleyball. And so we kind of started sending out, my mom and I send out, the videotapes and letters, and got a little bit interest here and there. And one of the contacts was from Mario. And so my mom was like, we had a volleyball tournament in Spokane, and it was like a Friday, and my mom's like, we need to go up and visit Central. And I'm like, I do not want to go visit Central. It's like, I don't want to go there, Mom. She's like, we just need to go look. Like, you talked to the coach. I think you just need to go look at the campus. And I was irritated because we were supposed to be playing in a volleyball tournament in Spokane. It's going to take all this extra driving. And she was like, come on, we'll just do it. We'll take a day off school. So anyways, drive to Central. And I just remember, I've driven to Seattle a ton. I'm from Walla Walla. So we go through Tri-Cities through Yakima. I've been that route. I mean, so many times. But I just remember getting to the top, and it was like a beautiful fall day, and just everything was green in the whole valley. And my mom goes, well, this is Ellensburg. And I was like, this is Ellensburg? And she's like, yeah. I was like, this is like farm country. She goes, I know. I was like, it's beautiful. She's like, you've been through here before. I was like, well, I have different eyes, apparently, Mom. So anyways, got onto campus. Katie Orgill was one of the ones that walked me around when I got there. And then Brad, and they just moved, let me talk to the teammate, and kind of just gave me, and Central did not look like what it looks like now. I mean, I've been on that campus right now, and it's beautiful what they've done to it.
I love
But
it.
I mean, it's incredible. But even then, like, I mean, just the minute I got there, so anyways, did the whole thing, left to drive back to Spokane for my high school volleyball tournament. And I looked at mom and I said, that's where I want to go. She was like, well, okay, aren't you glad we went? And I was like, yeah. So I just fell in love with the girls were just so welcoming. I mean, I was so nervous about meeting them too, being from high school to meeting college kids. But they were just so open and welcoming, and Mario and Brad at the time, Ackerman, were just an incredible team, and they just knew how to make you feel comfortable and make you feel at home. And I remember Katie showing me where I wanted to live, where I didn't want to live. So she's like, here's the dorm you want to, so she was already talking to me like I was going to come there.
She
So
knew
that's
ahead of
honestly
time.
like, yeah, that's honestly what kind of like shifted my thinking. I mean, again, we're in the time before social media, even really internet. And I didn't even have email. Like that's how like ice age we are here. So I had never really seen pictures or any of that type of stuff that you can now access
Mhm.
pretty easily. So yeah, it was literally just that day in Ellensburg that we left, and I told my mom, I'm like, this is where I want to go. And it wasn't much longer after that that Brad and Mario came to my house and offered me, a scholarship to come play there. So
It's weird how like literally like one little event can just
mhm.
alter your
Yep, yeah, yeah,
life.
it is.
That's
But oh my gosh, it's literally probably one of the best decisions I ever made was coming to Central. I met
and
my husband there.
oh yeah, you have had it all made then practically. What advice would you give to current and future CWU students?
So don't think that you have it all figured out. Don't think that you have to have it all figured out from day one.
Mhm.
If anything, I just like my years there kind of just ebbed and flowed. Like I just remember I'm a very type A person, and I would wrap myself up in this one little class and get so out of sorts and anxious about this one little class or this one little player, this one little game. And then when I look back on my 4 years there, I'm like, there were so many things, good and bad, that happened, but every bad thing or thing that I thought didn't go my way, it would actually ended up being like turning into something better. And I'll never forget my senior year. We were down in California playing in a tournament. And I was like, my senior year, I was gung ho. Like, I mean, I worked out harder than I'd ever worked out that summer. I was going to come in. We had a win. We were coming into a season where we were going to be like more of a contender. Like we had the athletes, so I felt like I was like one of the leaders. Like I was like, I've got to, lead this team. And so I just remember we had a great preseason, practices, like all the teammates were on it. We had these like policies that we were all like built in for. And so we go down to California to play in this tournament, and it doesn't go very well. And I just remember I was like angry. I was mad. I was angry. I was kind of like probably pouting is probably how Mario saw it. And so Mario pulled me in after that, and he just said, he goes, I just want you to know. He's like, I know the games didn't go how we wanted them to, how I wanted them to, how you wanted them to, but he's like, you have to realize that even when it doesn't go well, you still need to be encouraging. Like you still need to put on the face, like, we got this. Cause he's like, everybody is looking at you, towards you for that. And that was what I needed. I was like, you're right. Like, that's not how you handle a loss. Like people lose, we lose all the time. You learn from that. And like I said, that was my senior year before that even came in. But I think that's something even now that I look back on, from graduation to like getting married and getting a job, and then us moving and getting a different job and having kids and all these things. Like you don't have to have it planned out from day one. But enjoy the experience while you're there, because that's what I was doing at that tournament. I wasn't enjoying it. I was ticked off that we were losing, and I was missing the little things that we could have used from like, okay, we lost this, but here's what we did wrong. Let's go back and fix it. It's like that mindset of like taking what you did that wasn't okay or wasn't correct, and you can fix it for later. You learn from it. So I think for me, that's one of the things at Central, and also to take the time and have fun. Because I know at times too, like I was pretty stuck on this and this and this. And in the end, I mean, the volleyball I took seriously. Like I am so happy with how that turned out and how hard the effort I put and the time I put into that. I will never regret any of that. But there are some of the other things where I was like, I could have said yes to that. I could have said yes to that. But instead it was like, oh no, I got to do this. I got to do. So there are some times where I feel like, have your priorities. What are your priorities? What are your goals? but then also remember to have fun. Because that in the end, like the memories with my girls, like outside of even the volleyball, that's what I really cherish even now. And we were gonna have that whether we won every game or lost every game when I was there. It was
Like
still a good experience. Yeah.
you said, those lifelong friendships, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But did you ever imagine when you started at Central that you'd become a Hall of Famer?
No. Like I said, I told you it was my freshman year. No, I didn't. And the funny thing is, so my dad had actually mentioned to me a couple times, he had said to me, because Katie Orgo was inducted, and my dad was a former college football player, college or high school football coach. Grew up with him as a coach. I mean, he was just one of my biggest supporters. But also like he was hard on my sister and I. Like we were expected to work hard and kind of toe the line, and but all in love. Like I've always felt so supported by him. And a couple times over the last, I don't know, 9-8 years, he would say, when are you gonna be in that Hall of Fame? And I was like, Dad, I'm not even, he's like, no, he's like, you still hold that record. And I was like, yeah, Dad, I don't know. And then I would make the joke like, I can't get up in front of people anyways, Dad. Well, and then sadly, my dad passed away about a year ago. And so when I got the call from Dennis, like my first thought was, which is gonna make me tear up, was I wish my dad was here. And I mentioned that to Mario, and Mario said, he goes, it would be great if he was here, but he's like, you have to remember he was at every game. Like he saw the legacy that you left at Central. So he was there for the important stuff. He might have missed this, but he was there to watch you make that history. And he's like, and now it's just being acknowledged. So no, I didn't really imagine it. In fact, like I said, I was more just like, I don't need that type of recognition. But when I said that to Mario, like the words he said back to me, I was like, you're right. Like he was there when it mattered, because like this doesn't matter regardless. Like I broke that record regardless. My life went on regardless. But the honor's nice. Like it's sweet to still be recognized after so many years. But what honestly makes it the most special is that Mario is still there, and he still thinks of me as one of his players that deserves this. And I have so much respect for that guy. I loved my 4 years playing with him, and I've loved watching what he's done with his team. And he has just been somebody that's always just kind of like been there for me, even though we don't see each other or talk as much. Like when I needed an encouraging word or something, like he's the one that seems to send that text or make that phone call.
I'm sorry to get you a little emotional there, but
No, it's okay. I'm honestly worried a little bit about this at the banquet too. I'm like, do I mention my dad or not?
well, I know that he's looking down on you with so much happiness and joy for you.
Yes, I feel that too. So